Imagine the cops standing in your own backyard like you're the criminal while your 7-year-old daughter clings to your leg crying, and the woman smirking behind them is the HOA president who just declared your swimming pool community property. Yeah, that was my Saturday morning. Blue lights danced across the water like some twisted pool party nobody asked for. Vanessa Beaumont, or as the neighborhood called her, President V, stood there, arms folded, chin high, like she'd just won the lottery, and the prize was my sanity. "Sir, the board has updated records," she said in that honey-dripped voice she saved for concerned citizens. "Your parcel is now under Cedar Grove Estates jurisdiction. Refusing community access to the pool violates safety standards and shared amenity guidelines." I blinked. My house sat on the very edge of the development. The deed I paid a lawyer to triple-check specifically said, "not included." I bought it after my wife died because I needed quiet, not another set of clipboard overlords telling me what color my fence could be. Lily buried her face in my shirt. "Daddy, are they taking our pool?" "Bless your heart," Vanessa kept smiling. "We're only asking for reasonable access, Mr. Caldwell. Think of the children." Oh, I was thinking of the children, specifically mine, who'd just lost her mom and now had to watch strangers in uniforms treat our backyard like disputed territory. But I didn't yell. Not yet. I'd learned after the funeral that silence could be a weapon too. So I smiled right back, the kind of smile that doesn't reach the eyes. "Ma'am, this is private property. Leave." They left. But the war had officially started. 2 years earlier, I'd moved us to Cedar Grove because the trees blocked the noise of the world, and the price was right for a widower starting over. Lily could finally laugh again, without every corner reminding her of hospital rooms. I'd studied the plat maps like they were the Bible, made damn sure our little slice was outside HOA reach. No dues, no ridiculous rules about mailbox height or holiday lights. Just peace. At first, the neighbors were friendly enough. Waves at the mailbox, small talk about the weather. Then the glossy, "Welcome to the community" packet appeared in my mailbox, even though I wasn't in the community. A folded list of suggested standards taped to my door. A smiling lady across the street chirped, "Don't worry, the board isn't that strict, you'll get used to it." I laughed it off. Famous last words. The real fun began on a Tuesday when 4 matching polo shirts marched up my driveway like they owned the concrete. Vanessa at the front, perfect blonde bob sunglasses indoors, because of course. "Pool inspection time," she sang. "Safety compliance and community use audit." I wiped hedge trimmings off my hands. "Come again. All pools in the expanded Cedar Grove zone must allow shared access," she explained like she was reading from the 10 Commandments. "Boundaries evolve, Mr. Caldwell. Progress. Progress doesn't rewrite my deed," I said. Her smile never wavered, but her eyes did that little twitch people get when they realize you won't roll over. One of her clipboard warriors muttered, "Non-compliance will be noted." Vanessa laid a hand on his arm, all fake concern. "We prefer voluntary cooperation. Resistance just complicates things." Complicates things. That phrase would become her favorite threat. They left, but not before photographing my fence for records. I stood there watching their perfect formation retreat and felt the first cold finger of dread. This wasn't about safety. This was about my pool being the only one in the neighborhood big enough for their planned luxury clubhouse they'd been bragging about in the monthly newsletter. Mine was the missing piece. Next morning, the first red violation notice slapped itself on my front door like a scarlet letter. Unauthorized obstruction of community amenity. Daily fines accruing. Another in the mailbox. Another wedged in the gate. By evening, the neighborly waves had turned into tight-lipped nods and sudden interest in their lawns whenever I walked by. One mom actually crossed the street, clutching her kid like I carried the plague. "He thinks he's above the rules." I overheard another whisper loud enough for the whole block. Lily came home from the park in tears. "Nobody wants to play with me anymore, Daddy." I hugged her, told her it was temporary, but my voice cracked because even I wasn't sure anymore. That night, I sat at the kitchen table staring at the growing stack of red paper and made a promise to the empty chair where my wife used to sit. They picked the wrong house. The harassment dialed up like a bad reality show nobody could turn off. First came the police for loud, disruptive noises at 8 a.m. Apparently, cartoons count as domestic disturbance when you're on Vanessa's list. The officer looked embarrassed as hell, while Lily waved her stuffed bear at him from the couch. "Sorry, sir, just following up on the report." Next visit was for trespassing, me in my own fenced backyard. Then the real gut punch, possible child neglect because Lily was unsupervised near water. They dragged my daughter into it. I almost lost it right there on the porch, but the cop's apologetic shrug told me even they were tired of being Vanessa's personal errand boys. By day 5, a drone hovered over the pool while Lily splashed. She froze mid-cannonball. "Daddy, what's that buzzing thing?" I filmed it back with my phone, heart pounding with the kind of rage that feels ice cold. The drone dipped once like it was taunting me, then zipped away. That night another envelope arrived stamped, "Notice of pending lien." Thousands in fake fines and a not-so-subtle threat to seize assets. I laughed out loud at the sheer audacity, dark, bitter laughter because to anyone less informed it would have looked terrifyingly real. The neighborhood turned into a cult. Parents pulled kids away at the park. Old Mr. Henderson, who used to share tomatoes, suddenly found his driveway fascinating whenever I passed. Lily started playing inside, whispering, "I don't want to make anyone mad." That one sentence from a 6-year-old broke something in me and welded something stronger in its place. This stopped being about property. It became about protecting the one safe place we'd carved out of grief. I started documenting everything. Every notice timestamped. Every police visit recorded. I drove to the county office, dug up original plats, and watched the clerk's eyebrows shoot up. "Your parcel was never included. Always stand alone." Then she frowned at her screen. "Though there's a pending boundary expansion request with your address highlighted." Vanessa wasn't just enforcing rules. She was rewriting reality on paper. That's when the anonymous text started. "Unknown number. Not everyone agrees with what she's doing." Attached screenshots of board emails. "He'll fold or we'll push him out. Nobody keeps a private pool while we pay dues." Another. "The clubhouse budget needs that land. Force compliance. Optics matter." Vanessa's own words in black and white, dripping with greed. "Document everything. Make him the villain." I stared at those messages until my coffee went cold. The HOA wasn't protecting the community. It was a real estate heist wrapped in pastel polo shirts and bless your heart smiles. They saw my grief, my daughter, my pool as inconveniences standing between them and prestige. I printed everything. Highlighted bylaws that proved my exemption. Cross-referenced state law on fraudulent annexation. Compiled drone footage, police reports, neighbor whispers, and those damning emails into a binder thick enough to bludgeon someone. My lawyer friend Daniel read the file and whistled. "They're not just overreaching, Ethan. They're committing felonies," with a smile. For the first time in weeks, I slept without nightmares. Because now I wasn't the victim. I was the storm they never saw coming. The night of the monthly HOA meeting, the clubhouse glowed like a smug little palace. I walked in, binder under my arm, wearing the same calm expression Vanessa had perfected. Conversations died. Eyes darted. Vanessa stood at the podium, microphone amplifying her fake concern. "We have a non-compliant resident refusing community standards and endangering safety." Photos of my pool flashed on the projector, cropped to look menacing. She sighed theatrically. We tried to be neighborly. The room murmured agreement like trained seals. I let her finish, then stepped forward. My voice didn't shake. "I'm not in your HOA." I laid the deed, the plat map, the title, insurance on the table. "Your own bylaws, Section 3, jurisdiction only applies to parcels on the recorded map. Mine isn't there." Gasps. Vanessa's smile cracked. "Maps evolve." I dropped the email screenshots next. The room went dead silent as the crowd read, "Push him out," and "Clubhouse budget needs that land." Phones came out. Fingers pointed. One woman stood up. "You used our dues to harass him?" Another shouted, "You lied about the boundaries." Vanessa's face turned the color of cheap foundation. This is taken out of context. But the crowd had already turned. The same people who'd shunned me now looked at her like she'd grown horns. I walked out to the sound of angry voices demanding answers. Phase 1 complete. Court day arrived, bright and mercilessly sunny. Perfect lighting for watching empires crumble. Vanessa sat across the aisle, flanked by her remaining loyalists, and a lawyer who looked like he charged by the sneer. She still tried the polite smile, but it twitched every time she glanced my way. The judge entered, and the room hushed like someone had flipped a switch. Her lawyer opened with a masterpiece of nonsense. "Your Honor, the spirit and intent of the development clearly includes this parcel for shared amenities." Spirit and intent. Code for "we want his stuff." He flashed their fake updated maps like they were sacred. My attorney didn't raise his voice. He simply placed the original certified plat, the deed, and the county surveyor's testimony on the evidence table. Your Honor, the parcel was never included. The HOA's filings are fraudulent attempts at annexation without consent. Then came the emails played over courtroom speakers in Vanessa's own recorded voice. Forced compliance, nobody gets a private pool. The judge's eyebrows climbed. Vanessa's lawyers started sweating. When the county surveyor confirmed under oath that no annexation had ever been approved, the courtroom shifted like tectonic plates. One board member actually scooted his chair away from Vanessa. She tried one last Hail Mary. We were acting in the community's best interest. The judge cut her off like a guillotine. Mrs. Beaumont, be silent. He leaned forward, eyes cold. This court finds the HOA acted unlawfully. Jurisdiction never existed. All notices, liens, and harassment are nullified. I'm referring this for criminal review. Forgery, fraudulent filings, harassment of a minor. The gavel cracked. Vanessa's face went slack, the same expression people get when they realize the house always wins. Except this time the house was mine. Board members peeled away from her like rats leaving a sinking yacht. She whispered as I passed, "This isn't over." I leaned in just enough for her to hear. You're right. The investigation's just starting. Outside, the sunlight felt cleaner. Neighbors who'd once crossed the street now approached with awkward apologies. We had no idea she was lying. I nodded, accepted the olive branches, but kept walking. Forgiveness is free. Forgetting costs too much. The county audit hit the HOA like a freight train. Meetings turned into public floggings. Funds froze. Members resigned faster than you could say bless your heart. Vanessa disappeared one Tuesday. Moving truck in the dead of night, no farewell party. Rumors said the district attorney was still digging. My pool stayed private. Lily splashed in it every afternoon, giggling like the last 6 weeks had never happened. She looked up one evening, water dripping from her hair. Daddy, nobody's mad at us anymore. I smiled, the first real one in months. No, sweetheart. They're not. Some people still ask why I didn't just sell and leave. Because this house wasn't just walls and water. It was the promise I made to my wife in that hospital room, to give our daughter peace even if I had to fight the whole world for it. The HOA thought grief made me weak. They learned the hard way that surviving hell once makes you damn hard to break the second time. So tell me, was Vanessa Beaumont really protecting community standards, or was she just a power-hungry bully who finally met the one homeowner who wouldn't fold? Was the dad wrong for saying no, or was the HOA the real criminal hiding behind pastel shirts and meeting minutes? Drop your verdict in the comments. Because the next time an HOA Karen comes for your backyard, you'll know exactly what to do. Peace isn't given. It's defended. And mine was finally, gloriously, mine again.